Well, when it rains, it pours, and in my case, things just keep getting fucking stupider. So, according to an article that came out on IGN, um, Deadpool 3 is going to start production, or is currently in production. And because of the writer strike, I put my fingers up for quotations if you didn't know, um, this happens to mean that there's some complications when it comes towards the script for Deadpool 3. Now, my viewpoint on this, if you didn't already know, because I did a thing talking about this before, is that I already know Deadpool 3 is going to be shit, is going to be like just shit in the can, by a multitude of different reasons. One of the writers who happened to work on aforementioned show is a writer from She-Hulk.
Our next challenge is called Extreme Makeover. Ready? Extreme Makeover.
And God help you if you've ever seen that show. I did. And why the fuck? Well, then that's the other problem. Another reason is that this shit is done by Disney.
Extreme Makeover.
You know, same motherfuckers who ruined Marvel and made the MCU, which is a shit show of a writing, what's a good analogy? Yeah, just a shit shish kebab, if you will. And another thing is that they also happen to be using the director of not Deadpool 2 or Deadpool 1, but the director of Free Guy.
Extreme Makeover.
Now, Free Guy is such a mediocre film that is not even worthy of being called mid. It is just absolutely mediocre. It's not really that funny, but more so driven strictly by cameos and references, and it just ain't good. It's just not good. It's just not good. It's watchable for sure, but it's not something that you want to purchase. It's not something that you want to look at over and over again. It happened to be incredibly shitty, having to have ridiculous monotonous pacing, and honestly it just wasn't right. I mean, hell, the thing for some reason shows a bunch of fucking streamers talking about the video game character, actual real life streamers, like their opinions matter in the grand scheme of things for anybody, in any social platform. Hell, Pokimane was one of the people that they showed, and during the time of the controversy between her and It's a Gundam, and you know how fucking dumb that was for Pokimane. But it not good, not good at all. Just nothing in Deadpool 3 that basically gives me pause to think that this is actually going to be something worthwhile or good. And honestly, in order for Marvel to try and save the MCU, there's going to be a plethora of movies that are basically going to cater to the idea of using a bunch of fucking cameos and whatnot of characters and people who have already gone or passed or been in other movies in order to save and justify the other movies that they're going to make and do. Because you know how the rumors now is that, you know, Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. might appear in the next Avengers movie, or that, you know, Toby and the rest of Spider-Mans are going to be in the next Avengers or whatever. Just all around fucking stupid. But getting into but apparently if you look into the article, which is basically going to explain something else, you kind of also have this other issue going on apparently. But the article states this, and it's written by Carson Burton. Came out on May 24th, 2023. But yeah, from IGN. And it says, Deadpool 3 has started filming. According to an Instagram story post from star Stephen Kapik. I'm mispronouncing that like crazy. I believe it's the man who plays Colossus. Spotted by comicbook.com. The production is starting in the middle of the ongoing Writers Guild of America strike, meaning that the movie will be moving forward without its writers. Now it also says that the writer strike is currently in its third week, and many television shows and movies, including Stranger Things, Severance, and Yellow Jackets, doesn't matter, have halted their production schedules until the strike concludes with a fair deal. Marvel Studios, though, is instead choosing to move forward with production on the third Deadpool installment. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. I've already personally talked about how I think that the writer strike itself was pretty bogus, considering that these people are asking for shit when they haven't delivered anything worthy of the shit that they're asking. Years entertainment has been hemorrhaging money, and for years people have been dissatisfied with the entertainment that they've been given. So the writers all of a sudden nutting up and being upset at the fact that they might lose their jobs because of this is pretty fucking stupid. Instead of striking, there should be better content coming out there. Now, they can't go about getting new people to write for them, as the union is a union and there's rules to shit. But I would understand and greatly respect them more if they were to essentially go, you know what, fuck what you guys got going on right now. We'll adhere to better people because the current ones are fucking up. So make a new writers guild, make a new union, all that shit, and basically just piss off with all the people who've been losing money, because nothing of substantial worth has came out over the last couple of years that was like knockout after knockout after knockout. You found a diamond in the rough every now and again. Hell, more so anything, I'm kind of salty over the fact that Barry is over with. So yeah, I really don't give a fuck about anything else anymore. But it also says, while that's possible when a script has already been written and the production start date for Deadpool 3 has previously been set for May, so a script likely was already complete. It does mean that any writing duties that might crop up during production will be impacted. The job of a writer does not stop once the script is over. It's often essential to have writers available on set to adjust the story and give constructive notes during production. This is where we get into the bullshit territory. All right. Now, this is where you're going, like, this is one of those things that's going to try and justify the shit that's going on, or basically try to help out the writer's strike in itself, because people are going to think, oh, yeah, like you do need the writers now for some of the things that are in like production and whatnot. That's not true, considering the work previously done for certain films and concepts and things like that. Ryan Reynolds was a writer for Deadpool, both Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2. So what the fuck would he need writers to help him and assist him with if the work itself is already done? He's done 2 movies already that have done a great deal. What's even more fucked up, which is actually the 4th strike against this damn movie, is that Ryan Reynolds isn't credited as a writer. So, the nigga who basically wrote for the first 2 movies, which were incredibly successful despite not being in the MCU, is not actually assisting with the writing in the 3rd installment of the movie when it is a part of the MCU, even though it was able to reach critical acclaim without Disney's help. Fucking idiots. So we're going to sit here and act as if their writing team is essential to need to use in order for them to be able to do what they do, which just doesn't make any fucking sense when you have someone who is capable of writing for the character that they have been for so long. God damn it. So stupid. This should not be an issue whatsoever, nor should this even be something to bring up as fucking news. But damn it, this is stupid. This is just so goddamn stupid.
Angry young man.
And it goes on further to say, according to Collider, due to the contract that writers for Deadpool 3 have with the studio, actors have to follow the script to the letter. That is bullshit. Do you understand how bullshit this is? All right, now I'm gonna finish the paragraph, but this is bullshit. This is bullshit. Actors have to follow the script to the letter. That means star Ryan Reynolds, whose constant quips are essential, constant quips are an essential aspect of Deadpool performance, will not be allowed to improvise any lines during the production while the strike is ongoing. How the fuck does that make any sense? From a contract, like from writing up the contract before you began production of this movie, why would you implement such a rule towards a character and an actor who is known for doing such performances for said character? You realize how fucking stupid this is? So, see, this is the problem when you go out of whack with this dumb shit and you just completely miss the fucking mark, right? It's so stupid that this is something that they basically would have done, or that they would have implemented, and then like now it's apparently a problem. So rather than just being like, you know what, because we know Deadpool 3 could be a huge moneymaker if left to its own devices, if essentially we would have brought in the director who did 2, which was basically fucking phenomenal, as well as one of the best comic book movies that's ever been made, and B, give Ryan Reynolds a writer credit and have him help write the goddamn movie, considering the fact that he did the first 2 and that was fucking fine. But instead, and then just pay off the writers whatever it is that you're supposed to for breach of contract, and then just go, fuck you guys, fuck all, and then we just reset the movie and do our own thing with our own way with whatever outline that they might have had, because this is unbelievably fucking stupid. See, it's one thing to sit there and go, well, because the writers aren't there's certain aspects of the movie that they won't be able to use because they actually have in their contract that since they're the ones who originated or created it without their permission, then they wouldn't be able to use it. No, what we have instead is a rule that the actors have to follow what they wrote to the fucking letter. Otherwise, they can't use whatever it is that they have. But again, this is a character that is known for his quips, as well as an actor that is known to ad-lib and make up shit on the spot, and it actually be useful and work. So why would you put such a scrutinous rule if that is the case? Like, see, this isn't something that's like, yeah, this is a problem because of the writer's strike. This is a problem because of fucking Disney. This is the studio that's behind it, and this is what they do because they're stupid and they don't understand the media that they produce. That's why I'm so pissed at this. Like, I'm so upset at this because of how fucking stupid that this is. Like, this is unbelievably dumb. Just so dumb, as well as such a horrible thing that happened to this movie. So this isn't anything to look at and go, oh man, they need to give in to the writer's strike because Deadpool 3 is going to be bad now. Again, if this is a part of their contract, who the fuck is to say that they're going to basically allow ad libs to happen upon the writer's strike being settled or anything like that? No. Why the fuck would they even have that in their contract if they weren't so nihilistic towards the idea of him making up something else along the way? Fuck, this is stupid. Oh my god. And then they go on to say some other bullshit about other shit where it's like Marvel has already paused development of one of its other movies, Blade, and we all, like, I've talked about how fucking stupid that is. Which has already experienced numerous delays, halted pre-production work in early May. The strike currently has no end in sight due to an ongoing contract disagreement, which bargains on behalf of most Hollywood production studios. Writers are seeking for minor contract reflecting how many. Yeah, all right, the bullshit. Like, writers are basically the writers want better rights than what they currently have. But realistically, Hollywood has made a very good point at the fact that the writers have been producing shit as of late. So there's no reason to adhere to what it is that they want. Rather than the writers need to understand that they need to either produce better content or and get fucked in the ass. And honestly, I'm all for fucking them in the ass because this shit is stupid. Oh man, like seriously, like, movies have been so lacklusterly boring as of late. Hell, no MCU movie has made any damn money except for fucking No Way Home. And that movie's money went to Sony. Disney has profited at a fucking loss. I can't believe how many times I have to fucking explain that. Like, I keep saying that. It profited at a loss. Those words shouldn't go together. You profited it at a loss? That's a negative, nigga. Oh my goodness. Deadpool 3 is currently set to hit theaters in November of 2024, placing it in the middle of MCU's Phase 5. Unlike the previous 2 movies, Deadpool 3 will be the first Deadpool movie made under the MCU banner, but it will still retain its R rating. Let's see how well that goes with the director who essentially did Free Guy, which was basically the kiddiest, friendliest, dumb movie ever. The film will see Ryan Reynolds work with the Mouth Recruit as Colossus. Blah, blah, blah. All right, now it's just talking out of his ass. And that's all for an article. Honestly, it was incredibly short. Really nothing, stupid, dumb, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that was nothing. But you now understand my dissatisfaction with what's going on, right? Like, you get why I would be upset at this. This is not something, like, if you read this article or you looked at the little tagline or whatever and thinking, oh man, I need to back up the writer's strike or whatever, give in to their demands, otherwise Deadpool 3 won't be good. No, Deadpool 3 was on a clear fucking drive down Highway 66 at 120 miles per hour towards not being good. The studio is Disney. Disney don't do R-rated movies. They're not going to adhere to anything going like I guarantee. Like I'm pretty sure that's probably one of the one things Ryan Reynolds had to push for was to get an R rating because at first it was announced it was going to be PG-13. So even still, we don't know if that's actually like clarified or that's gonna hold together. So like until I see a trailer or something like that for the movie, or until I see the movie itself, like yeah, I'm not holding my breath in terms of the rating aspect of it. This is fucking Disney we're talking about, but this is some bullshit. This is really some bullshit because like this is a clear example of pettifogging or more so straw manning or anything like that, where they're going to have so many people ride the coattails of this information. Mark my words, so many people are going to ride the coattails of this information as this is what's going to make that movie bad. While no one is going to put together the rest of the shit, like I said earlier, you know, the director, the writing team that they already got, and as well as the rules that the studio themselves made up for a character and an actor that adversely is constantly making up quips, ad libs, and shit like that. One of the things that is like core aspect of his character, as well as just the things that he do with the character within the series. All of that shit is just gonna be thrown. All of that was explicitly thrown right out the window from the get go. They they gave themselves nothing but a huge amount of staff that were untalented hacks at first. And generally, the only thing that a lot of people are going to go to the movie to go see is the fact that Hugh Jackman is in it. And then, much like No Way Home, the movie's only defining aspect is going to be the cameos. It ain't going to have shit to do with the content of the story. It's not going to have nothing to do with how the movie actually is, how it's performed, what the writing is, and nothing like that. It's all going to be about the cameo. The fact that they're going to have Hugh Jackman and Deadpool together, or Wolverine and Deadpool together, is all the people are going to scream and cry about. I've heard and listened to so many people who essentially are like comic book fans talk about how they love No Way Home, yet they would scrutinize the hell out of certain Batman movies simply because like there was just one aspect of Batman that was off. While as with the No Way Home movie being completely and utter bullshit was something that they was like, oh no, I had fun. And it was like, well, much like with Endgame, it was a movie that basically kind of added on all the whipped cream and the toppings at the very end, while you had to sift through a bunch of bullshit in order to get to that part. But because of how the mind works, you forget that shit when you leave out the theater because you just remember on that hype train, yeah, it was good at the end. So then your mind just keeps going, it was good. But then that whisper in the back of your head is like at the end. And you just don't really adhere to that. And so people have to deal with that over and over. Because again, Endgame was a piece of shit of a movie. Avengers Endgame was a piece of shit. It's just that movie had 30 minutes of like a hardcore action scene, which honestly would trick any clever person or someone who thinks that they know what they're doing. But it's like, oh no, a self-sacrifice, a nice heroic ending after 30 minutes of dumbass action. But yet you see how many people, you see how many people pointed out the stupid shit that went on within that final action scene. And then it just took years for people to actually want to hunker down and criticize exactly how monotonous and retarded a lot of the shit that went on within that damn movie. The Captain Marvel flying up out of nowhere only to get her ass knocked back by Thanos. Like, what the fuck? Like, it didn't even matter. So what the hell was the point of her whole movie if that's all that her character was going to amount to? Stupid. Just unbelievably stupid. And can I blame Endgame for that? Yes, Endgame is the movie that was supposed to be the crescendo to everything done within the MCU up to this point. And her movie came out before Endgame. So I would hope and assume that this character, was going to do something. And it turned out to be nothing. And it's stupid. It's okay to call it stupid. It's okay. This is a healing process. But damn it, this isn't dumb. Like, I just feel bad that this is going to get the, I would say negative press, but everything about it is negative. But it's just the fact that I know people are going to talk about the fact that this movie is basically going to be lacking in certain areas because of the fact that this happened, like the writer strike is happening, rather than talking about the overall aspect, which is just this movie being done under the Disney banner, yet let alone being part of the MCU, which also shouldn't happen, is fucking ridiculous. It's retarded, it's ridiculous, it's wrong, and it should not happen. It would have been fine if they left these, like, they had their own set of movies and their own set of a universe where Marvel was able to do whatever the fuck they wanted with any type of individual character. And then upon them doing the whole Kang bullshit and wanting to make a multiverse and whatnot, well, then you have these characters doing shit within another universe, and then possibly they can merge into or mix in with the MCU or any other thing that they wish to indulge in. But not to the point where it was like, yeah, this is something that desperately needs to be under the MCU. Does it have to? Do you have to say that? Does that mean that it's better? The MCU has been pumping out bullshit for the longest, and now you're going to add in Deadpool 3, and I'm supposed to think that this is going to make it better? Fuck no. So it's dumb and idiotic to assume or to believe that for some reason, just because Deadpool 3 or Deadpool, a character that you might like, being added to the MCU is going to make it better. That's idiotic and stupid. But it's even more idiotic to basically ignore all of the fucking warning signs that were given to us beforehand when they first announced this damn movie that it was going to be bad. To adhere it to just, well, the writer strike is what made it bad because Ryan Reynolds couldn't ad lib. Nah, man, this is gonna be a bad movie because Disney got bad writers, and that's why they're striking in the first place, because they know they're bad writers and they don't want to get fired. So this is just unbelievably stupid, and I'm just really upset at this. But would love to see exactly where this goes from here. Because honestly, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, man, they're striking. Who the fuck has to care with what they're talking about? Like, they're breaching contract, aren't they? Like, isn't that a thing? Does that not account for something? Like, does it? I don't know. Like, because if you're going to say the writers are important and they need to be there during production, but these writers are striking, wouldn't that mean that they're breaching contract? Wouldn't that mean that you then don't have to keep everything to the letter because they're already fucking up at first? I don't know. I don't know what the contract states, but I would figure that something like that would be in a contract written by Disney of all places, people, places, things, noun. But God, it's just overall stupid. Like overall, all of this is stupid. Oh man, I really don't want Deadpool 3 to be a bad movie, but I guarantee you it's not going to be a good one. And that's all I got to say about that. This has been another episode of Fun with Flame. I've been your host, Dan the Flame, and as always, good people. I just can't end it that way. I really just can't. I'm pissed. Hey, real quick, make sure you check any of the links down below if you want to see any of the stuff that I'm involved with. This includes more episodes of my podcast, as well as a comic book that I'm working on with my buddies over at These Guys. But as always, this has been another episode of Fun with Flame. I've been your host, Daniel the Flame, and as always, good people, I hope you had fun.